We're here at Del Mabry campus to find out how we can stop and prevent mass shootings happening on school campuses worldwide. First, can you tell me why you decided to come to this event today?
Well, I have a friend and she's working and she told me about it, and I think it's very important to be involved and to listen to the conversation and even, try to be part of that conversation. So I thought it was important to come today.
What are some ways you think that we can prevent mass shootings from happening on school campuses?
Well, I think the first thing that needs to happen is that there needs to be more restrictions on guns on the whole community. Obviously, just making one gun zone that's, free from gun use doesn't work because people just bring them from outside. So it has to be a whole nation, whole community effort. So,
What are you looking to get out from an event like this?
well, I'm hoping I'll be able to hear people's opinions and, maybe I'll be able to build on my own with that, or I can understand better where other people are coming from when I go out to debate and, push my views forward.
So why did you decide to come to this event today?
Unfortunately, it seems like in our society lately, it's becoming more and more of a commonplace to have these mass shootings, and I think we need to be more aware and conscious of our surroundings and try to help prevent it in the future.
How do you think we can help prevent things like this happening on school campuses?
I think just making sure everybody is aware of what's going on, and maybe if they see signs that if it's another student, if they're having trouble, maybe trying to direct them to a counselor to get help.
And what are you looking to get out from this event today?
Probably the student perspective. I'm a staff member, so I'd like to get the student perspective, see what ideas they have, and hopefully just come to a really good understanding of what we can do.
What are some ways we can prevent mass shootings on any school campuses?
Gotcha. Well, a major problem that I see is there's typically no concealed carry on campus. And while that can be dangerous, having not the right people trained, I feel that if there are the right people trained, they have the ability, for instance, ex-military that have gone through certain psychological trainings and know what to do in that case, I feel like that could definitely help our community. And also having more armed police on campus.
What are you hoping to get out from an event like this?
To definitely take what people are saying and understand what they're saying, and also have my ideas put out there as well, because sometimes people they don't want to say certain things because they're scared of what other people want to say, and I just want to make sure that everybody's heard. So that's kind of what I'm trying to get out of this.
How do you think we can prevent mass shootings from happening on campuses?
Wow. That's such a broad question, and there's not just one answer, but I think if we're aware of each other and kind of know what's going on with each other, I think it can kind of limit it to some level.
And what are you hoping to get out from an event like this today?
Just ways and means as to prevent it and to kind of identify the risk factors.
So tell us why you decided to come to an event like this today.
I came actually probably because I'm a Quaker. Quakers, it's my religion. Quakers like a lot of discussion and being deliberative about things. I also teach public speaking, so I think this fits right into it. I teach public speaking here at HCC.
What do you hope to get out from the event today?
I hope to see a generation of students willing to change our country.
And how do you think we can change these mass shootings, how we can help prevent them from happening on school campuses or any social events?
For me, it starts with what you see here in the room, that people will be facing each other, talking about it, getting the issues and the ideas out there, and discussing it in a sane, rational way. I think that's good.
Tell me first why you're here at this event today.
I'm here because our one of our honors directors, Christina McIntyre, knows Miss King and essentially got in contact with her when she heard about this, and they essentially were like, sent a listserv out and were like, hey, would people be interested in this? And this is a topic that feels very close to home for me, and so I decided this was something I wanted to be a part of.
What do you think students will get from coming to this event today?
If anything, I think they'll get a new perspective. The whole goal of our program today is to try and provide insight from the different approaches that different people have suggested to reduce mass violence and gun violence specifically. So if anything, hopefully people can see another point of view that they haven't necessarily heard before.
Same question.
I think one thing that people are going to kind of get out of today, I think that the issue gets very politicized very fast when we start to talk about gun violence. And so I think one thing I'm hoping people get out of today, is the ability to actually sit down and have a conversation and not just, a screaming match between political heads about like what we should or shouldn't do. I think like my biggest question is, what are people going to bring to the table, and what are people going to get from this discussion, because I think the most important part of this is the discussion that's being had and the fact that people are coming here to listen and learn as well as share their ideas.
What are some ideas that you guys have to prevent mass shootings from happening?
It's an interesting question, being from Virginia Tech and like having that question asked. Something really interesting, I guess I pointed out to JC yesterday, but on door handles on your campus, you have 2 door handles, and we don't have that anymore on our campus because it was deemed a safety risk after our shooting. And so I think it's really interesting the way different campuses approach it, and I feel like it's kind of hard to address it, on your campus just because I don't necessarily know it as well. And so I feel like, I guess one of the biggest things that I am personally concerned with is the ability to get a gun when you're untrained, when you're young. I guess one of my biggest opinion on this is that gun control needs to be much tighter, and that training and, specifically education about what guns and guns are not for, is probably the highest issue on like my list.
What do you think of people being allowed to carry guns at school?
Yeah, carrying guns at school. It's an interesting question. I in the past have not been against police officers being armed, because typically they are armed in wherever they're stationed. So I'm looking forward to seeing if my perspective on that changes after the conversation today. It's interesting. I will be serving as a moderator today, so I won't be able to express my opinions too often in there, and I'm excited to see what I get as a purely receptive role.
I'm against it. Even on our Blacksburg campus, only certain VTPD officers carry weaponry, and even then it's only in certain situations. So as far as I'm concerned, I think concealed carries on campus is a dangerous thing. I frankly don't trust another 20-year-old, a 21, 20-year-old to decide when I need to be protected. And frankly, I don't know if somebody would actually be able to react on time in a situation. If a shooter comes into a classroom, how do I know that you're going to be able to react in the correct way and you don't end up hurting somebody else or getting more people hurt? So I'm completely against it, honestly.
And what do you hope the students and the people who come to this event take out from coming to this event today?
I don't know. I think what I'm most interested in is openness to like the idea. I don't know the opinions of the people inside. So for all we know, we get in there and everybody's in agreement on the things that need to be done. I think what I'm hoping people get out of this event is the willingness to take this conversation elsewhere and have it. It's one thing to have an event inside a classroom. It's another thing to take it and bring it to your friends and say, hey, this is an issue. It's another thing to take it outside of here and say, we need to organize a rally to change legislation in states about this, or to take this to our local congressman. So I'm really hoping that people take this kind of as a spark or an invitation to continue the conversation, to continue the activism that started here today.
Yeah, I would hope that not just that people can take out not just an open mind, but maybe with what's involved with the process of a conversation. So not just keeping an open mind to all ideas, but what types of ways do we have to converse so that we can arrive upon a proper solution in a group setting. Usually we can come to a good conclusion if we all collaborate, and that's just a difficult thing to do. It seems like we polarize issues, especially like gun violence, too much. So hopefully the process on how to discuss these types of issues.
What were your thoughts coming into this event and now coming out? Were they different, or do you still have the same thoughts?
Mainly the same thoughts, though. I am glad that we did an open discussion on things like reaching out to community and people who might be mentally ill or going through some tough psychological, emotional problems.
What was your favorite thing about the event?
It was that, probably. And the fact that it wasn't a raging, screaming debate. So, yeah, it was pretty calm. It was good. We were able to collect thoughts. I'm pretty sure some of us were having like aneurysms in our seats, but none of us expressed them vocally. So,
what can you tell other people that weren't at this event today? What can you, to summarize what today's event was all about?
I would say talk to people who were here. It was a great discussion. We talked about the options that we can do, the steps that have been taken, that have not been taken, that should be taken. There's a lot that we still have to do if we want to. I did notice that we did speak at this event like a mass shooting or a shooting here on campus is an inevitability, and that might be my one criticism. But it did encourage steps to be taken to prevent those kind of things from happening.
What were your thoughts coming into this event, and coming out of it? Were they still the same?
Well, I was coming in, I was kind of nervous. I thought, I'm just going to sit around and listen to people and what they had to say and, kind of learn a couple things coming in. But then when I actually sat down and started, I was one of the people talking the most in my group. So it was really cool to see what everyone had to say. And it was definitely very interesting.
What did you take out from it?
A lot of things about safety here on campus, what the community can do at large to help with this or to help people in general. Issues that the government might come into play, how history in America has come up with this whole gun situation. So lots of things were learned.
And what was your favorite part about the event today?
I really liked the discussion in the circle with everyone. It felt really open and very honest. Everyone, was civil to one another, very friendly, and no one was afraid to speak their mind. So it was great.
How do you think the event turned out?
I think the event was great. I think that it had a lot of information shared back and forth. We got a lot of ideas going. It was amazing to be able to interact with everybody about this, such an important issue. So,
did you learn something that you didn't know before coming in here?
Let's see. I kind of gained upon some other knowledge from other people to be able to push back and forth ideas about kind of developing my philosophy on it and being able to develop theirs likewise. So that's the direction that I kind of took it, more of taking their view. So
tell us about the event today, how it all went down.
I think the event went splendidly. Everyone was very cooperative with each other. The conversation was cohesive and continuous. I couldn't have been more pleased with how it turned out. I think we had a great bunch.
What do you think the students took out from coming to this mass shooting in our community's event?
I think one of the biggest things that they took out was how much you can find out just by simply talking to each other. And also that it's an issue that not only affects students, but the faculty and staff. And it's really interesting to see their perspective from it. I mean, I remember when I was doing research on this issue, how much I found out from like the perspective of a teacher or a faculty counselor, what a difference it makes to talk about it and how it affects their environment, being in an institution and having this type of issue facing you.
If any HCC students see a fellow student in trouble or any need, how can they report anything like that?
We have a program called Speak Up HCC, and what you can do is notify those who are employed by the program, and they can work with you to reconcile any situations of that sort.
And for there are people here from Virginia Tech.
Yes, they are.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So when we first came up with this idea to do a deliberative forum, it was Kathleen King and I. Kathleen is the honors director for the Honors Institute here. She wanted to do something revolving violence, and I agreed because violence has been it's been an uproar in the country lately. And so she kind of just threw out the idea, well, what if we contacted Virginia Tech Honors Program and see if they want to join in on this? And I was like, I think that would be amazing. So we continued planning, and they said yes, and it was incredible, especially when we planned the date for this on April 13th, and it just so happened to be on the same week of the eve of the shootings that happened on Virginia Tech 9 years ago.
What motivated you to put this whole event together?
I think in the beginning, it just sounded like something that was cool. It just sounded like something, just the idea of talking rationally, having kind of options laid out and seriously weighing pros and cons. I really enjoy that because I really believe in trying to make decisions, logically based decisions, not letting emotion drive everything, although it's an important component to making decisions. We are human. But what continued to motivate me more and more was the reaction that I saw from the students. Like when we asked for club funding, when we asked for rather student-led funding, we asked the Student Government Association. And it was tremendous support from everyone in the room. It was a resonating yes, we want this to happen. We think this is necessary. This is what SGA is for.
Right. And hearing about legislation wanting to have students carry around guns, what's your input on that?
I've never been too keen on that because I have such a passion for education. I love school. I love being in school. And I think knowing that someone else has a gun in the classroom and I don't know what they're capable of, I don't know what kind of training they have, that's always going to be something in the back of my mind, and it shouldn't be. You know, I don't want that to hold anyone back. This is the environment where you nurture thoughts and discussion, and it's really hard to nurture thoughts when you have something holding you back like that.
Thank you very much, Brittany. And is there anything else you'd like to add on?
Yes, this is not a one-time deal. I want this to continue, and it doesn't have to be about this issue. Deliberative forums can be continued in any capacity. You can talk about anything that you feel is pertinent to society today. I think it's important, though, that we continue to encourage discussion, not just inside the classroom, but outside the classroom like this. So I encourage students out there to take this on. Find a peer, an advisor, make a team, put it together. I'm willing to help out anyone who's interested in doing it. And the National Issues Forum has been completely supportive of our group this whole entire time.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you.